We are going to take a look at why this fabulous, hyped, and over produced movie called Birds of Prey is flopping very hard at the box office right now. And I'll bring my theories and I'll probably take a look at some of the other theories that have been presented by other writers and other media outlets, and probably we'll take a look at why this is really dying right now at the box office, and probably would lose Warner Brothers a lot of money if it's not going to bounce back in a couple of weeks from now. So a quick reminder, I actually didn't really do the box office rundown for this weekend. Sorry guys, but this video is more or less the whole rundown for what happened, but we are going to concentrate more on Birds of Prey and why it flopped more or less at the box office this weekend. Now, this movie's actual numbers have been released about an hour or two ago, and it's made an official number that is about $33 million, which is less than the $33.2 million that was estimated yesterday. And the production cost for this movie is around $85 million, not taking into account the $50 million marketing, meaning that this film would probably need around $240 to $250 million for it to break even. This movie made an official $76.5 million opening weekend worldwide, with around $46 million from the international market. That's the actual numbers. Basically, it's not even the estimate, this is the actual figures, guys. Now, a lot of people that are the kind of like shills, woke feminists, are trying to spin this and say that, oh, it's not like Suicide Squad, it's not like Deadpool. They're trying to spin it to make it look like it's not a big deal that this film failed at the box office. And I am here to correct that impression, because this movie failed because of a lot of things. In my review that I did about a few days ago, I said that this movie is not good. It's nowhere good. In fact, the only reason I gave this movie a 5 out of 10 was just because of the cinematography. The cinematography design of this movie was quite decent, and it wasn't because of Katien. I could see more of the hand of Charles Stahelski, the director of John Wick. He handled the action. He actually came to redo the action scenes for this film, and he was able to more or less fix many errors that this newbie director called Katien really did in this film, because she really messed up this film. And I'm not going to blame only her, I'm going to as well as blame Margot Robbie. Now, you're going to take a look at why this movie is failing and major reasons why this film is failing hard. Now, this movie shouldn't be rated R, because when I watched this film, I could really count how many times I saw blood on the screen. Like, literally, I can't, from the top of my head, I can't even remember Harley Quinn killing somebody and there was crazy blood on the screen. So basically, this movie wasn't even a violent movie per se. It's not as violent as John Wick. It's not as violent as say Raid, some of the action films like Crank, even The Meg, some of these high profile movies that didn't even get an R rating. Okay, John Wick got an R rating, but there are some high profile films that didn't even get an R rating that was more violent than this film. Even Justice League, granted Justice League is a high profile budgeted movie, but Justice League has more violence than this film put on screen, basically. And the only thing that made this movie R-rated in the first place was just the F-bombs that was used a lot in the film, basically the swearing, and which is crap, more or less. Now, it's failing more or less because the marketing was terrible for this film. Now, a lot of people, a lot of the media, the shows, they are trying to spin this that it was failing because the target demographic didn't go to watch it. Let me explain something to you guys that will get to see this video. The majority of the people that go to watch comic book movies, like it or not, are men. Dudes watch comic book movies. Women don't go to the theaters to watch comic book movies. They follow men to go watch comic book movies because men get to pay for their tickets more or less and they go watch this. I keep saying this and I'm going to stick to this because you would hardly tell a female that you would want her to take you to go see a movie and she would want to take you to go see a Birds of Prey, a Deadpool, a Logan, a Justice League. She would hardly go there. But if it is a guy going out there, she could take a girl out there and pay for the tickets and they go see that movie, whether the lady likes comic books or not. So the demographic was already flawed because of the marketing, because you come in your marketing and you start promoting that this is a feminist film, and it's clearly a feminist movie because I saw it. Now, it wasn't overly woke, like it wasn't portraying a sort of overly agenda driven narrative per se, but it was woke to a degree because virtually all the men in this movie were painted badly and it wasn't that good. Like literally every dude in this movie was not made to look good whatsoever. Even the police department and virtually every guy, like even the old man. Anyway, I don't really want to spoil this movie, but there is a scene that even the guy that was supposed to be Harley Quinn's like father figure still double crossed, and I really couldn't understand why in a movie like this every dude was made to be bad. And even I can understand Roman Sionis being the man, bad guy, hating women and all that, but if all the characters that are men in the movie were treated in this light, you basically just told all the guys not to come to your movie, and you go put it in your marketing and you get the result that you're getting right now. Woke marketing killed this movie, and this movie died a horrible death. I'm sorry, this movie would have struggled to get to $200 million, and it is because of Warner Brothers' mistake. I wouldn't even call this a mistake. It's more or less a deliberate action, because if Warner Brothers knew that what they were doing was going to ruin their movie, they wouldn't continue it. Honestly, this movie wasn't overt woke, but the way Warner Brothers pushed this movie, they pushed the agenda, and by the way, this movie wasn't even good, honestly. Like, literally, the people rating this movie highs are the shows that like feminist, agenda-driven movie. Now, you see what's going on in Hollywood now. Agenda-driven movies get a lot of praises because the shows, guys like Scott Mendelson, that is show, I call that fucker from Forbes a show, because all those guys are shows. They see agenda driven films and they rate it very high, and when you as a normal person goes to see this film, you go and see this film and you'll be blown away the kind of rubbish that you see on screen and how men are treated in the movie, and you get out from the movie theater feeling so bad because you'll be like, why are you going to waste all your money to see a movie that makes you feel like you shouldn't be existing in this lifetime? And this is the kind of agenda that has killed many of the female-driven film, and a lot of them are coming out this year. Mind you, because this year is like the woke year. Basically, 2020 is the woke year in Hollywood. Every movie, at least 60% of the movies coming out, the high-profile movies this year are made by women. And it is going to be a fun year for me to cover everything about the female agenda-driven movie, from Mulan to Wonder Woman to Black Widow, all of them, regardless of whether it's Marvel, DC, all the brands. I'm going to cover them. If it's woke, you're going to get it on this channel. But one major highlight that most access medias are not saying right now because they don't want to fall out of the grace of the studios that they are talking about is the fact that Warner Brothers messed up big time and by promoting this film as a woke movie. Even though it wasn't too woke, I've seen the movie, but it was promoted as a woke movie and it has hurt it so bad. Granted, the movie wasn't really a good movie. Honestly, it wasn't good. In fact, I only give it a 5 because of the cinematography, and I saw some parts of the movie that could have made a lot of sense if it was written well and put in the hands of a good director. Katinyan is a crappy director. She is clearly very, very new to the game. She doesn't know what she was doing. This is clearly a Margot Robbie directed film, because honestly, this looks like what a toddler made. It was that bad, honestly. But regardless of what has transpired at the box office and what is going on right now, it's going to be a wake-up call for Warner Brothers, because they're going to look at this failure and they will tell themselves, you see, these agenda-driven messages will not work. They are trying it with their Batgirl series and it is a total flop, a disaster. Men hate that series. You cannot tell a story about comic characters and you put in an agenda where men are hated. It's not going to work, because men are literally your backbone of your movies and series, more or less. If men hate your content because you are pushing them away, their content is going to fail. Similar to the way if you treat women badly in a drama movie, like basically you make a drama movie or a romance movie and you tell ladies in that movie, in the agenda, that they are trash, they will not see your movie. And most guys will not see those movies because they don't care about romance or drama driven movie. So it's just the way the comic book movies are more or less is for males. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying that Harley Quinn is for females, like the younger ladies, the younger generation, that they shouldn't have made it R-rated because the younger girls would have gone there. Trust me when I say this, even if this movie was not R-rated, this movie wouldn't have hit $14 million. And I can prove that because Joker is R-rated. And Joker just came out about 5 months ago. I didn't even see Joker as one of my top films from last year. It was a decent movie. It wasn't really great in my books, but that movie pulled almost $100 million in the United States alone and about $250 million worldwide in its debut weekend. Right now, it's already over $1 billion and one of the most profitable comic book films of all time. And it didn't even play in China. Basically the same market share with Birds of Prey. So that is a kind of like, how will I put it? It's not really an excuse for access medias that are pushing this agenda that it was targeted to younger ladies. No, the right audience for Harley Quinn was men, because men liked her in Suicide Squad. I liked her in Suicide Squad, and it was basically ruined in Birds of Prey, because this movie wasn't even about Birds of Prey. It's more or less about Harley Quinn, and this movie should have been called Harley Quinn, and it would have done a lot better. Remove that Birds of Prey. Maybe you can introduce them at the end, and they could now have their own feature film or feature series on HBO Max, more or less. So guys, basically this is the major reason this movie is failing. It has to do with marketing and the bad marketing, the woke marketing that Warner Brothers put out. The target demography was male dominated audience. It has nothing to do with young ladies. Leave all this crap the woke media is trying to say. Leave all this fucking shit that woke medias are trying to say that it is for ladies, it's for young ladies. It is not for young ladies. Most ladies don't pay to watch comic book movies. Guys go pay to watch comic book movies. It has nothing to do with ladies. That is it, guys. If you want to go see Birds of Prey, it's playing in theaters. It is average. It's not terrible. I'm not gonna say, oh no, don't go and see the movie, it's terrible, it's bad and all that. It's it's okay for what it is. It's not going to kill you if you watch it, but there is no coherent storyline that relates to the comics in this film. This is basically just the characters they just picked from the comic and just decided to throw in a storyline and made trash out of it, and that's just basically it. So if you just want to go and have a popcorn, you go to the theater, just have fun, take it for what it is. Don't take this movie to heart. It's just what it is, guys. Make sure you follow us on social media, subscribe to our channel, and like our content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.